saying that if we borrow, we should pay back. Yes. So borrow what you can handle from your Momo app. Pay back on time. No pressure. Because when you pay back, the cycle continues and you get to do more with Momo. So the responsible borrowing be the real flex now. Every day, Momo day. So do more with Momo. And Stanbic Bank is coming your way with the Obasima women's banking system. So discover Obasima Stanbic Bank's women banking solution designed for every woman in Ghana. Enjoy business incubation, China trade opportunities, and comprehensive financial and insurance support. Stanbic is here to drive your growth. You can visit their website www.stanbicbank.com.gh or call 030-28 15789. Stanbic Bank, unlock your strength. We hitting the phone lines now again to speak to Dr. Kingsley Kurugu. He is the founder and CEO of Botis Buri Foundation. They have gained a milestone achievement, and so we want to talk to him this morning. But they have been doing scholarship activities in the Boku West area and the entire Kosak and Upper East region, supporting young ones and brilliant young boys and girls go to school. He was speaking to us on their latest achievement with regards to the non-profit certification that they have had. Good morning, and welcome to Daybreak Pais, Doc. Hello, Doc. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Very well.
All right. You're welcome. Just good morning and welcome to Daybreak Pais.
Yeah, good morning, and to all who are listening this morning, good morning.
All right. For those of us who possibly might be hearing Botis Buri scholarship and fund this morning, just give us a bit of it, what you do.
Oh, thank you so much. I think Botis Buri a scholarship fund was established in 2022 when some of young people, when we realize that despite the fact that you have, and more even because you have free senior high school, a lot of young people who otherwise would not have made it through high school were able to make it through high school as a result of the free senior high school.
Okay.
Because they are coming from very humble background. But for the fact that the high school was free, many of those young people would not have in senior high school education. And we then realized that for this category of people, now going on senior high school was almost an impossibility because on the senior high school is not free. And so if the free senior high school made it possible for them to get senior high school education, what was going to make it possible for them to progress beyond senior high school became a difficulty. And so we kind of put together a mechanism which we call Botis Buri, and in our language that stands for sowing seed for the family for tomorrow. And so we thought that we could try to put money, and I used to work in Amsterdam, and I used to teach and do consultancies there. When I came back to Ghana, I was still doing that online. In fact, it's something I'm still doing. And so at the end of the year, they are able to pay me some money. And I spoke to my wife about it, and we decided to put that money into a scholarship fund. so that every year we'll be able to support needy and students who are brilliant at the same time, but whose only obstacle to be able to progress beyond senior high school is financial support. Some little financial support, sometimes as basic as small as 1,000 Ghana cedis, can determine whether a child step in a classroom at the beyond senior high school, and sometimes even in certain senior high school, because you can say that the school is free, but there is still somebody, even to get the basic needs to move to that school that is free, it's a problem. And so we put together that mechanism.
Okay.
And then every year, whatever money I get from my teaching online and my consultancy work online, I'm able to put the money in there so that we use it to support this category of brilliant but needy students. Of course, the needs keep growing. Yeah, the needs keep growing as more and more people get to hear about the fund. Then we get more applications. And so this year, the board decided that if we can get it, certified as a non-profit entity, then we'll be able to go beyond my personal support, to get other partners to come on board and then support it. And that is what you saw in the post.
So what does this non-profit certification mean for the Botis Budi Scholarship Fund in practical terms?
Oh, it means a lot. It means a lot because if you understand how grant-making system works, people are willing to support when they can see a clear structure.
Okay.
And there are requirements to get that certificate that we posted on social media. You have to have systems in place. We had to submit an audit report. We had to make sure that we have board of directors who are, selected according to the rules of corporate governance. We have to make sure that the structures are all in place before you get that certification. And so it also gives partners and individuals and donors who want to support what we are doing the confidence that if you put your money there, a certain John Kruger is not going to take that money and put in their pocket because there's a system in place that will prevent that kind of mechanism. And so it means a lot. We, even just by publishing this, a certificate on LinkedIn, for example, we have already been contacted by 2 partners who wants to know a little bit more and how they can be of support. Also, Rotary International has gotten in touch on also how they can onboard. So it is very exciting. As a matter of fact, the board chairman just called me yesterday and said that they are going to have a board meeting and they want to know the total amount of money that is needed for the next 2 years, for example, so that we can see, which path to raise that money to make sure that all those young people, and we are not just focusing on those who are going to uni to achieve higher degrees, but we are doing both education and skills development. So because for some young people, going all the way to uni is not their path to success. They may want to learn a trade, they want to learn a skill, they want to learn a vocation. And for them, that is how to achieve self-actualization.
All right.
And we are very much open in both directions to support them. So it is a very exciting movement. I also have quite a broad network, across the world. And that publication I do on social media is also reaching out to some people in Europe who are in my network and who are also looking at how they can support the fund. So
Great.
we are very excited at where we are now and looking into the future.
All right, so you're just talking about the future. How is this important, this particular status now, important to the vision of Botis Budi?
I think it is very, very important. And let me tell you, and you know that I am a politician. But what a lot of people don't know about me is that I have been a development practitioner for years before veering into politics. And so some of the things I do are not just for the sake of politics. It is what I have been doing before politics came the way. And so politics or no politics, my development agenda is something that I'm very passionate about it. I keep saying about a young lady that we kind of rescued from forced marriage and put into the remedial school that we run at Youth Harvest Foundation, for example. And today she's a pilot. It is that kind of, impact is what motivates me to get into this kind of thing. So this milestone we have is a very important one because if you look at last year, and so far since we started the scholarship fund, we have supported over 200 young people in different aspects. But last year, we were transitioning from one board to another. But also, if you remember, the new government that came, they came with a policy that first year in the university was free for those entering. Now, that was one of our main focus. If you remember, I started by saying that the transition from the free senior high school to higher education, and that was our focus. But when there was a government policy, the government cannot give people free, they call it stress-free policy to enter into the university. And then you as a private scholarship fund also take the little resources you have and give to the same kind of people who are going. So that kind of affected our operations, and the board had to sit back, take a look. So last year, those who benefited from the fund were more of the very needy ones who are brilliant, but who want to go to senior high school. And despite it being free, still struggling. So they got it.
Okay.
But that was a limited support. And now we want to make sure that we expand this and also focus a lot more on technical education and then skills development. So that whenever there's a policy like what the government is implementing, it normally does not go beyond the normal progression to unique system. And then most cases, those who want skills development, the young girls who want to go and learn sewing or want to do hairdressing and things, some of these policies doesn't cover them. And so you also have these kind of people who are just struggling. Somebody just needs a basic machine to go and learn a skill and things like that. And we are also looking into that to mop up so that we do not leave anybody behind. But
with what you have said, is that to say that you have changed your operational terms with regards to supporting young people who are going to tertiary institutions to that of those going into second cycle institutions?
I wouldn't use the word change because right from day one, we made it clear that our focus was on education and skills development.
Okay.
Right from day one.
Okay.
The vision of the fund. Now, depending upon what is happening, at a point in time, you decide where to focus more. And I think because as long as the stress-free policy of the government is working to take care of, make sure that young people who get admission to go to uni can walk into uni and take care of their basic needs of accommodation and fees. If that is working, then of course there will still be one or two people who need support. But if that policy is working, then we want to focus a lot more on the skills development side. Because that policy does not really take care of the skills development and make sure that young people, and don't let us forget that Ghana has gotten to a point where, in fact, too much focus on education through the uni system is creating unemployment. Because you also have a lot of young people turning out and they cannot find the needed jobs because we have not given them sufficient skills, to be able to get out there and do quality work so that they can earn a decent wage to be able to live a decent life. And so we need to also pay attention that the modern skills that are needed, those who want to install your GPS system, your satellite system, those who want to make your wall look nicer, or those who want to, make sure that your furniture is polished up well and look like it's coming from Italy or wherever. That kind of skills is also where we need to focus. And now today, every woman wants to have a beautiful hair. Can we have young people to get into that kind of sector and make sure that they live a decent life? So this is also our focus. And before I end, may I take the opportunity also to wish the junior high school students who are starting their exams this week. And I want to tell them that, look, they are the reason why we have systems like Buddhist Scholarship Fund. The fund is waiting to support them. They should put in their best focus and shine and make sure they get the kind of grade that can take them to the next stage of their life.
All right. Thank you very much. But then how could young ones get access to the scholarship if someone listening to us this morning wants to get support?
Oh, no, normally, I don't administer it myself. My job basically is to make sure that I work with the board as a patron and work with the board to make sure we have enough money sitting in the account. And then you have the administration people. The fund has a scholarship fund coordinator, and he and his staff are there. They normally publish a certain criteria and call for applications. And normally we don't want to just take young people and give them support, but we want their families to be involved. Purely from a principle that, look, don't ever think that somebody was in such a need that you can take over and take care of that person. There is never someone who is there that doesn't have a family or, a relation or a support system. And what is sustainable is when the family and relatives are involved. So we will publish and we will ask for people to apply, but we ask them to come with a guardian, a parent, and we do a certain assessment on the background as well. Because my children don't qualify to benefit from the scholarship fund, because by the grace of God, myself and my wife, we are able to pay for our children's school fees. It is the same way that we will not also take kids who are coming from colleagues like us. But that is not the idea. So we do all these background, and the team will do all these background checks and all of that. And they will finally present to the board that these are the people we have selected, and this is the reason why these people meet the criteria. And then with approval of the board, they proceed to disburse support to them in one way or the other.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kingsley Kruger, for speaking to us this morning.
Thank you so much, and all the best to the junior high school students in particular.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. So you heard Dr. Kingsley Kurugu speaking to us this morning on the milestone achievement they have had in getting certification for their non-profit activities. Gerald, Sami, you've heard Dr. Kingsley Kurugu. Yes.
Well, for me, Dr. Kingsley is an admirable personality. I've never hidden it from him. I've had a cause to interview him on several occasions. I think the first time I had engagements with him was when the idea for the Butters Brewery Foundation was birthed. And it was so exciting. And for me, it pleases me more that today they've gained the recognition from the government of Ghana to operate as a not-for-profit organization. It adds more weight to the work that they are doing. As he reiterated earlier, it indicates basically that they can now seek funding from just beyond what Dr. Krug is doing. You know, he provided the seed money for this foundation when it started of about 100,000 cedis at the time. And that time, I remember, because it was getting inching closer to politics, I grilled him about the political intent, the motive behind establishing a foundation for education when it is just nearing politics. But he was very clear with the mandate of the organization. He said, "Look, my brother, this is not, I'm not even going to be I'm not going to be involved in this whole thing. It's going to be set up, and the people are going to be identified from the district education directorate through so they had stakeholders that cut across who are going to be the board for that particular organization." And that was when he let us in that he is actually the founder for the Youth Harvest Foundation, an organization that has thrived, that has helped a lot of people in the Upper East region. And it is the testimony he gives about the young girl who was taken out from early marriage, and today she is a pilot. For me, it excites me more that Butters Brewery has today gained recognition by the government of Ghana to operate as a not-for-profit. It widens up the funding network of the organization, and that means that Butters Brewery is coming to stay, just as Youth Harvest Foundation has also stayed and is helping a lot of people. So kudos to Dr. Kingsley Krug. I admire him. I admire his personality. I love his thoughts for development, and I wish we could have a lot more of it like that. Or for us also aspiring for the future, we could also have thoughts like that to better our society.
All right. Sammy? Just something. Yeah, you just something.
When you finish talking the matter, you want me to talk. But I admire the procedure in getting the people applied to get the fund. Especially how you get parents involved. Some people always say somewhere and feel that, oh, you apply, when you get, you do what you want. But just to make parents understand that it is not just come and collect money, but you also have a role to play. We are giving it to you because you cannot. Not we just have money and we want to throw to people. So people will just, there are others they can pay, and yet they just want to apply. And I feel that when everyone, especially policymakers, this issue like this, you see, that should be the principle for awarding scholarships.
Yeah.
But even the national scholarships are polarized. They have been able to infiltrate that with some kind of favoritism and people who are well connected. That alone is a problem. But if these scholarships are decentralized to the point that we take away the biases, the favoritism, the connection, and the real people get it, I think it will go a long way to even raise a lot of people up and give them a standard to be able to go forward. And I think they are doing very well at their place. Just like Gerard said, not to repeat a lot of things. Right. They have done a lot, and I believe this will give them more to do.
I actually got touched when he talked about the fact that they involve family members of people who are giving this support system such that it is not just anyone that they pick on the street or in the classroom that they are supporting, but then they actually get to understand that yes, indeed, this particular individual needs the support that they want to give it to him or her, and that alone is very remarkable, such that no one can just sit somewhere, imagine things and figure things out and then go out there and get support. But then the family is fully involved in it. And if there is a need for the family to even take up certain part of the support system, they would be able to do so. So we are going to talk about press freedom, maybe briefly from you, what your observations has been now that we are going to speak on this issue. Regarding the press freedom, I think when the Ghana Journalists Association made their press statement, they gave a report that has been released by Reporters Without Borders that we have moved a bit in terms of ranking from 52nd to 39th position, and we are 4th in Africa. What do you make of it?
Okay, so you want me to start?
Yeah, start.
Okay, so you have to be asking people to talk. You say, what do you make of it? We'll all be looking at it. I think that the free press, World Free Press Day, I think it has been there for a long, and we are now getting to understand the dynamics involved and then the parameters involved in calibrating and graduating countries when it comes to which country is doing well, which country is not doing well. And Ghana, for some time now, we have made some gains, we have made some successes. Just that there are few hindrances that we could just polish up and get the best. You see, freedom of speech is not an easy thing, and because of the kind of democracy we practice in the country, people feel that we can say anything, and when you say things like that, they go to impugn others, and you want to take action, and it becomes like we are undermining the freedom of speech. And freedom of speech is usually guaranteed with this press freedom and other things. People should be able to say free things. But saying free things do not mean that malign others and make personal derogatory matters, comments on others. So over the years in Ghana, the media practitioners, a lot of them fall foul with some of these things. And taking action becomes difficult because they feel that when you do that, you are attacking the press freedom. And that alone is a problem that we are dealing with. If you look at how we have graduated and we have made these gains, it has to do with how people understand concepts and make contribution to them. How people understand that what we are talking about is an issue, it's not a person. How people understand that when we are talking about matters, we bring perspectives that give wider scope of thinking, and people begin to take different angles. So that at the end of it, you don't go personal, you don't attack people, you don't try to, because this one is saying it, he belongs to A or B. And when that happens, what you are indirectly saying is that you are making them quail back. Because if I don't want to belong to A, and I make comments and you put me at A, next time you ask me to make, it becomes difficult. But where we are getting to, I just hope that we will continue to make the advocacy, make the education, let people understand the difference between context and personalities, the difference between where people are coming from and what they are saying should not be taken for granted.
All right.
And when that happens, the press freedom we are actually looking for will get. And then last thing is how to do with the people, the press men ourselves must also build our capacity to understand what we are seeing and what we are doing. Capacity building is very important, and coupling that with what do we call it, incentives, and how people cannot influence you to do their bidding such that you inflame others. Because if people are able to influence press guys and they say things, another group of people sitting somewhere, the more you keep saying it and the more you don't go factual, you don't go talking about the real issues, and you go the petty ways, people begin to think about you as you are doing the bidding of others, and that kind of respect will not give you. And whatever you say, they begin to talk and attack you verbally. and that is what decline the what do you call it, our percentage when we want to, when there are rankings
Ranking.
and perceptions like that.
Some few years ago, we were hovering around the 50th position. In 2020, so in 2025, Ghana was 52nd in the world ranking, but today that is out of 180 countries. But today, as we speak, Ghana is 39th. So that is an improvement. And if you look at Africa, we were 8th, and today we are 4th. So that is a big improvement. For me, as Sami rightly indicated, there are just a few things that probably have undermined the press freedom of today, and largely has to do with the area of how the reporting on Galamsey and the attack on journalists who went to Galamsey sites to record videos. I think mostly these are some of the issues that has led to a decline in the ranking of Ghana on the press freedom. But basically, as Sami said, while we advocate for press freedom, let's also learn to educate ourselves on how to channel our conversations and how we approach people in line with the work. Journalism has its ethics. It is when we adhere to the ethics of our practice that we can do our work well.
All right.
But when we adhere to our practices and people now intend to suppress the work that we do, that is when we can cry foul. So these are impressive rankings that Ghana has chalked, and I believe that going forward, those rankings will improve.
All right, so we have the opportunity this morning to talk to Seth Kwame Kekeli. He is an associate editor with Fourth Estate. Good morning and welcome to Daybreak Pies, Seth.
Thank you very much for having me.
I hope you're doing well.
I goes with I'm good. And yourself?
Not bad at all. Just let us in. When we talk about press freedom in Ghana today, for you, what does it mean actually?
Well, it basically means the ability of a journalist to do his work without fear, without repression, without attacks, without lawsuits that virtually try to cripple the work, without intimidation.
Okay.
And then also without government talking down on your work. That is what press freedom means to me. And other journalists who are doing this work.
So for you, do we truly have that? Let's talk about our lived experiences with regards to the current ranking and what we have within our country here in Ghana.
I'm very happy you mentioned lived experiences because what is on paper might not necessarily mean the reality of journalists in Ghana.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy you said lived experiences. So on paper, we are 39th out of over 180 countries. But in reality, is that the case?
All right.
There are journalists still attacked every day in Ghana just for doing their work. There are lawsuits that are flying left and right because of somebody who just want to gag you. Somebody wants you to prevent you from doing your work. Or somebody simply thinks that by going to court, he's putting some fear into you. And then also there are the repressive laws that are still in our books. We think that we've repealed the criminal libel law, but the criminal libel law has found its teeth in other two laws. Section 208 of the criminal code. That law, which talks about fake news, is still there. There are politicians churning out fake news every single day, but nobody does anything to them. Politicians in government and out of government, they are churning out fake news every single day. Then you also have Section 76 of the Electronic Communication Act, which has nothing to do with the media. But then it's being used in the name of fake news to arrest journalists, to intimidate journalists for publishing fake news. We've had colleagues who have been arrested for publishing what they say is fake news. But there are politicians out there who are actually saying things that have serious ramifications on the economy. There's a politician whose name I won't mention, said something about the Bank of Ghana Arts and Forex. And that thing had implications. People were withdrawing their monies from the bank. He wasn't arrested. But a blogger, when we say freedom of speech, we are not only saying trained journalists or only those on air. We should also be thinking about those off air, bloggers and so on. They also constitute the ecosystem of freedom of speech. One person was jailed because he simply read a story about how if you don't withdraw your money, if you withdraw your money from the bank, if you try withdrawing the dollar from the bank, so and so, and he was jailed for about 3 months or so. My politician, whose word carries more weight, was left off the hook because he's a government official.
All right.
So if you look at the ecosystem in Ghana today, yes, on paper we are doing very well because the president, I must commend him. If you look at his posturing, if you look at his public comments on the media and stuff, you notice that the president's posturing towards journalists is very favorable. Yeah, I must commend him for that. He will order his security personnel to leave journalists alone when they are covering him officially. I think this is very important because in his very first time, I remember 2013, I watched this. It was right before me at the Independence Square. My colleague from Graphic was tasered. I mean, you know taser, right?
Yeah.
They used a taser on his manhood just because he was trying to take a photograph of the president. Another person from the Ghanaian Times was slapped around. And bottom line, what did they do? They just apologized to him. We had his officials, destroying the recorders of journalists and so on. But this time around, I think that the president has taken a very positive outlook towards how journalists should be treated, and that should be commendable.
Let's look at some of the beats that journalists could be working on. Which of these do you think, let's say politics, investigative journalism and all that, do you think that there are specific ones or specific beats that are more dangerous that journalists should take note of?
This is very interesting. I'm saying it's very interesting because journalism is journalism. And we have journalists who have been attacked in the studios. They are not outside. They've been attacked in their own studios. Yeah. We have journalists who've been beating on the field, who have been attacked, Erastus, who have been attacked on the field. We have journalists who have been sued. We have journalists who have been threatened with, assault or threats to kill and so on. So, as we say in local parlance, nowhere cool. Yes, a threat to journalists anywhere. I won't single out one particular bit and say this is more serious than the other. I'm an investigative journalist. I've been sued a couple of times. It's all a threat to the work I do. But I cannot say that this is more special than this, that is more special than this. You get it? But while saying this too, I think we also need to pay attention to media ownership in Ghana. It's a very important conversation we are not having. It's an important conversation we are not having. What we are doing by that is to plainly put our media houses in partisan colors. Yeah. So when somebody is attacking your work, is attacking the party that owns your media house or the personality in the party that owns your media house. So in that instance, it is more partisan. They are looking at your partisan coloration, even though you may be a journalist who is doing a very good work, but just simply because your media house is owned by a politician, you automatically become a target.
Wow. All right. So Sammy wants to ask a question. Sammy.
All right.
Yes. So you identify a very important area, and we will be interested to know how do we deal with this matter, because it's a free business people are doing. You can't say they shouldn't go into business, but how do you propose that we can deal with this matter that we have identified?
It's a very difficult one for me to say, because I mean, we've issued the frequencies already, or people have registered their newspapers, people have their media houses already. What I think we should begin to do is to do good non-partisan journalism, right? There are media houses in the country that you clearly see that this is what they were set up to do, and this is what they are doing. You remember ahead of the 2024 election, there was a journalist. I don't even know whether to call him a journalist or I don't know, because people these days, people just pick people to put on radio and TV because they speak very good language. They speak good Twi, they speak good Gan, they speak good Ewe, they speak good Dagbani or whichever language they can speak very well and fluently. Then you put them on radio and TV without asking the questions. Is this person competent? Is this person trained? You remember ahead of the 2024 elections, there was a guy who was saying, on December 7th, those who will vote for Bawumia will go and vote for him. And then the 8th, they can go and vote for the rest. I mean, how can a journalist be on radio or TV and be doing this? Do you get it? Yeah. And that radio or TV station is highly partisan. Do you get it? It's highly partisan and unprofessional in that conduct. So if you ask me, the solution is one, we should as journalists be professional in our work, irrespective of where we work. Two, I think there is also the problem with the passage of the broadcasting bill. That bill has been in Parliament forever. That bill ordinarily will streamline the work of the broadcast media. You get it? Because if you look at the print media, I mean, the thing is in print. Before you publish it, you would think twice. You would have revised it time and again. You would have looked for evidence to support whatever you are doing. But for radio and television, it's in the heat of the moment. A lot of people say things that if they are given the moment to reflect on it again, they won't say it. Do you get it? So if you have the broadcast bill enacted or passed into law, it will curb a lot of the excesses in the system. And also, NMC has been toothless. The NMC, the National Media Commission, is toothless. It's not doing anything. They tell you we are doing media monitoring. But when was the last time you actually came across a report by the National Media Commission saying this and that and that and that media houses should watch what they do? We are not talking about only when people broadcast porn and then they are warned or asked, and the NCA to take them up there. We are talking about pronouncement on radio, professionalism on radio and television stations. What do? We do nothing. So basically, we've already, the horse is already running on the field. But how do we ensure that the horse doesn't go attacking the public? That's the essence of this conversation.
All right. So for you, while we observe this day, Press Freedom Day, how can we encourage impactful journalism?
What is impactful journalism? It's journalism that changes society, bring positivity to society. Journalism that ensure that the voice of the voiceless are heard. When we have programs, it is not only the minister, the MP, the assemblyman who matters. Whoever matters is also the listener, the person who is directly affected by the things we are discussing. There's a recent Afrobarometer report that says that in Ghana, only 7% journalists give opportunity to only 7% of the public in our content, in our stories and so on. That is not enough. Liberia has 17%. So how do we ensure that we move to at least 30 or 40?
Okay.
That is one. Two, how are stories impacting society? How are we empaneling people? How are paneling reflecting the cross-section of our society? Are we giving opportunity to women as well? Or for every single panel we put up, it's about men? That's also very important. How are PWD's voices, people with disabilities, how are their voices reflecting in our conversations? Or we think that their voices do not matter? How are we using our public service broadcasting? I'm talking about GBC in this instance. How are we using them to deliver the mandate of real public service broadcasting that affects the lives of people across our country? How are we ensuring that we educate the public in a way that makes them aware, conscious, so that when they are taking their political decisions about elections, about voting for people, it is not based on the pittance, as in the small little money they get from politicians, but rather they are taking their decisions based on policies and programs that the politicians are campaigning on. Those should be the things we should be thinking about as we celebrate the day.
All right. You earlier gave us a hint about what you do as an investigative journalist. Are you able to share your experience with us, some of the key things that you have observed doing some of your investigative pieces?
Sure. Investigative journalism can be very exciting because of the impact you have. You spoke about impact early, so yes. Let me blow the horn of the fourth estate a little. Over the years, we incidentally were 5 years in April. We have done stories that have ensured that the SML bill, for instance, has led to what's his name? Kanu Koreata hiding in the US and preferring the ICE detention centers to the freedom in Ghana. We've done stories on the scholarship that has ensured that the parliament passed a scholarship bill or law that regulates scholarship in Ghana today. We've done stories on asset declaration, which is meant to ensure that public office holders actually declare their assets before and after leaving office. And for the first time since 2013, every single minister in Ghana today has declared his or her assets. It hasn't happened before. Wow. It hasn't happened. But through our story, we've done that. We've done stories on forest invasion, how during the Akufo-Addo era, they ended up giving our forests to politicians under the guise of regulating mining our forest reserves. And that law was revoked last year because of our stories. We've also done stories on missing drones that were meant to fight Galamsey and then disappeared. We've done quite a lot of stuff. And the thrill of those impacts, the NSS, yes, the NSS scandal. And our stories ensure that people are being prosecuted for using the NSS as a conduit for stealing money, public money, allegedly. We've also done stories on the National Lottery Authority. Right. The state was actually losing money. So those impactful stories are very good and they are motivation. However, there are challenges. When the final product comes out like that, we are excited about it, we are happy about it, but behind the scenes, there are a lot of challenges. One is access to information. We have passed the Right to Information Law after 20 years of struggle in 2019, but the implementation is still a problem. The right to public office holders who are supposed to give you information, but they hide behind the exemptions and won't give, or sometimes won't even mind you at all. Two, you still have people who think that when they are in public office, they are law unto themselves. They are not accountable to anybody.
Okay.
So when you request for even interviews, they won't mind you. You have journalists who are virtually attacked. I mean, there was an experience, but for the sake of the fact that I could speak Hausa, my colleague and I would have been attacked. We were preemptively listening, and when we heard that they are here, come, then we jump into our car and ran away. But imagine the tons of journalists in this country who have no access to, vehicles and so on, that they could easily jump in and run away. You also have lawsuits. I mean, we are fortunate that our organization fights for journalists. So when there are lawsuits, I don't have to bother so much about the cost. But how many media houses can afford legal representation in court?
Okay.
It's very expensive. Then you also have a situation where mental health. We take it for granted that, journalism is easy. It's not easy like that. The frustrations and the difficulties that you endure in our newsrooms. For an investigative journalist, it's not easy when, for instance, you are sued. Mentally, yes, it's going to waste your time, but mentally too, you begin to do self-censorship. Oh, should I touch this story? Should I leave it? What if I get sued? We are lucky that, again, we are in a newsroom that people get encouraged to do very good work. And then also funding. Investigative journalism is very, very, very expensive. Very expensive. There are stories that we have done and have spent about 70,000, 80,000, 100,000. How many media houses can afford that? The salaries are not even coming. And you think about being able to fund very good quality work. So in the end, people will just do armchair journalism. And the impact we expect will not get. So those are some of the things that...
talking about salaries, how does that impact the level of delivery as far as the journalism is concerned?
So I've said this before. Journalism did not. I mean, journalists have not swore the oath of poverty, right? You know, when you are employed as a civil servant, they will ask you to swear the oath of allegiance, oath of secrecy, and so on. But journalists have not sworn the oath of poverty, that when we take up this job, we should be paid poorly. We don't deserve to live good quality lives. No, we haven't. That is not our calling at all, that we should be poor. No, anyone who says that is an insult. Because just like any other person in our society, we need to live well, right? We also have families. We need to pay fees. We need to, feed our family. We need to live in a good home as well. Yes, our work requires that we serve the public. But serving the public does not mean that our quality of life should be, very poor, that we don't deserve to be happy. Now, the danger in paying journalists poorly is that you are compromising their integrity. Okay. Imagine if a journalist has a very big story and he calls the source and the person says, Charlie, let me give you some $100,000. The story he's doing is going to uncover rot that is over $1 million. What do you think that person who has no moral will do? He will take the money and forget about the story. That is what poor salaries could do to journalists. If you take, for instance, there was a story about, this is very old actually, a story about a journalist, a Ghanaian Times journalist called Fayose. I don't know where he is now. Who had a story about an Indian businessman who had attacked his employee. And this guy says that this guy called the businessman and demands money. The man recorded him secretly. And then his employer says, in fact, the story checks out, it's very true. But the only reason why the story was published is because they didn't pay. The businessman didn't pay. The businessman actually beat up his employee.
Okay.
But because he was asking for money that wasn't given, he went to give the story to his employer. So the employer said, okay, when the law firm wrote them, what they did their internal investigations and said, yes, the story checks out and everything. However, the guy was sacked from Ghanaian Times because he did not tell the employer about this incident.
Okay.
And when they asked him why he did that, he said he was doing investigative journalism. He was investigating it secretly. But if you are investigating something secretly, your employer still needs to know.
Yeah.
Your editor needs to know. Because you are not an island on your own. Yes. If even you don't trust your employer, you trust a colleague, because the day of accountability will come. Assuming you are going to be arrested, somebody would say, oh, we had this conversation. At least that is what we do in our newsroom. If there's a story, you don't want to even tell your boss at the time you are doing it. You need to let a colleague know that this is what I'm doing. Because if you get into trouble, there needs to be evidence that this is what you were doing.
Yeah.
So that is what poor remuneration for journalists does to the profession. You have people who easily compromise. Easily.
Well,
I'll give you a personal example if you have more time.
Please share.
There was, I don't know if you know this, I don't know if that supermarket has come to up north. It was called Citidia.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was investigating them about, our laws require that if you import any goods that are labeled in foreign language, you're supposed to translate them into English.
Okay.
So that people can understand, because people have allergies. Right? My kids, for instance, are allergic to anything in pineapple. Anything containing pineapple, they react to it. But imagine going to buy a fruit juice from that supermarket and it's in English, the ingredients you don't know. And you see a fruit juice well packaged and you buy it. The kids will react to it and then there's a problem. Now, so I went to talk to the marketing manager. And he said, no. As for this one, you were put to it by our competitors. I asked, how? Are you doing the right thing? That's the question you're asking. Your competitors, how? Am I employed by competitors that they will give me a matching order to come to your office? Then I finally got the interview and everything. Then in the evening, their consultants came to our office. So he said, can I take this envelope? And then we hold on for the story for some 3 days so that they will do the right thing, because they are working with the FDA and blah, blah, blah. Guess what? At that time, my wife was pregnant. We need to buy baby stuff. My rent was just about 3 months away from expiring.
Oh, wow.
Yes. This was in 2016. So you can just imagine the temptation. But I asked myself, so if I take this money and then I tell my boss what, so we will hold on or do what exactly? And then later when you publish the story, they will tell you it's all false. But my biggest fear is to have my integrity dragged in the mud like it's nothing. Because as a journalist, your credibility is the currency you have.
Yeah.
People give you stories because they trust you.
That's true.
People will approach you to tell you things because they trust you. But the moment you compromise that, you are no longer a journalist. What you are is a mercenary. You are in there to make money. I did say earlier that we did not swear the oath of poverty. But at the same time, we should not compromise our integrity so easily.
All right.
So eventually we published the story, all right. But guess what? The man called me 3 days later and said, hey, you are thoughtful. Yeah, so imagine if we have given you this money and you take it and the story will not see the light of day. You would have been happy. and we would have done the thing anyway.
Yeah.
But I think what you published ensured that we got the speed to do and the agency to do what we had to do.
Wow.
And there was a second time. In this NSS, the first time, this is not the first time we are having ghost names on the NSS payroll.
Wow. Really?
No. Yes. In 2014, 2015, there was a scandal like that. And the executive director and a lot of the district managers were put before court. Now, at the time, the executive director, I was covering the courts those days with graphic. The story I told you earlier was about graphic. What I was at graphic. Now, there was this gentleman who became a very prominent minister, who was during the Akufo-Addo administration. I wouldn't want to mention his name. He was the lawyer. He was Mahamad's template. First template. He was the lawyer for the executive director. Now, the executive director of the NSS at the time had a very stringent bail condition. He was supposed to be reporting to the police every 2 days. They had seized his passport and so on. And during that court proceeding, the courts, revised the bail condition and said that he should go to the police every 2 days. And then also he should, his passport should be returned to him. Ordinarily, this is very good news, right? Good. So why would his lawyer want to give journalists money? So I was with 3 colleagues, and then the lawyer came and said, "Oh, we should have this money for transport." When he left, I told my colleagues, "Nobody's keeping this money. We are going to give it back to him, because we do not need motivation to report a court story. I mean, what do you need solely for to report a court story? He is happily giving you money today because the story is in his favor. If tomorrow the story is against him, he will say it's because he didn't give you money.
Yeah.
And I didn't come here to be taking money to report our stories."
Wow.
So we went to see him. And then he said, I told him, "Oh, Honorable, we don't need motivation to do our work. And besides, today's proceedings was in your favor, so we don't really need it." Then he said, "Hey, really? Wow, I've always been giving journalists solid, but you don't want it. If we are looking for angels in journalism in Ghana, I'll come and call you." But you see, that guy eventually demonized us. But because we did the right thing, he's telling us that if they are looking for angels in journalism, he'll come and call us. So please, don't trade your integrity for pittance.
All right.
Why do we revere Manasseh? Because he won't sell. He could easily get the opportunity to make any money he wants, right? But he won't compromise on it.
All right.
And that image creates opportunities for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
We still have a lot to ask you, but time will not permit us. How can we get our system work for journalists? We just one maybe just for your comments when we say goodbye.
So I was hoping that the GJA has over the years said that they are going to have a collective bargaining agreement that gives them the power to negotiate salaries on behalf of journalists. So that at minimum, the GJA, if you're a member of the GJA, for instance, if they say the cut-off point, if you don't pay a journalist, nothing, you pay him at least 3,000 cedis a month, right? I was hoping that would be a good approach, because then it also encourage people to join the association and be more professional in doing their work. 2, I also think that media owners should give their journalists opportunity to do refresher courses to update themselves in the media work and the latest trends.
Press Freedom Day. The day it was actually celebrated yesterday, and we're extending it to today so we can have conversation around it.
Don't see me like a fool because I don't do giddy giddy giddy. Giddy giddy. Don't see me like a fool because I don't do giddy giddy giddy. Giddy giddy giddy. Fire, fire. Nikita Oda so kurabashi. 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 Just to concentrate, I win and celebrate. I've been around, I be the one come take. I do the ones that pay. I've been around, a baby shaped like Coco. Nothing a man can say when she moves.
All right, so we're still making way to continue conversations on the Press Freedom Day. We make an effort to speak to our good friend Jalula, William Jalula. He is also an associate editor with 4 State, and this time around we're talking about safety regards to the work of journalism. But then, whilst we are at that, everybody is a winner in the Ongalicious Abinwaha promo. Over 4 million Ghana cedis worth of cash and prizes to be won. Just look out for the special Ongalicious promo packs. Submit 20 Onga powder promo sachet and 20 Onga shrimp tablet promo wrappers at any Onga redemption center near you and receive your scratch card. And what you do is that after getting your scratch card, you scratch to reveal your unique code and send that code to star 713 star 127 star 713 star 27 hash and win instantly. What are you winning? You're winning 200,000 Ghana cedis, a deep freezer, smart TV sets, kitchen appliances, and more. The promo is ending on the 15th of July. It is on. So hurry and don't miss it. Terms and conditions, remember, my brother, apply. For here in the Upper East Region, you can call Freema Azuma on 0201 862231. And she's at Alex shop at Sawaba, and also Azuma Joyce at Get Rich Shopping Mall. You can call 050 80
I'm a kid that like Panin Nanama. Now, over ye, Yanagadama. They must have over ye, the governor. Namadaka, the Akanava. I'm a kid I like Panin Nanama. Nanama in the morning. Nanama in the evening. Me just I live up my life and I make my money. Me no worry about anybody. Me just I live up my life and I make my money. Me no worry about anybody. Don't see me like a fool because I don't do giddy giddy giddy. Don't see me like a fool because I don't do giddy giddy giddy. Giddy. Don't see me like a fool because
All right, so we currently have Edward Adeti. He is in charge of Media Without Borders. He is the chief editor, Media Without Borders. And he'll be speaking to us on his lived experiences with regards to journalism here in Ghana and in Upper East specifically. Good morning and welcome to Daybreak Upper East, Edward.
Good morning to you, Muncha Wakilu.
I hope you're doing well.
Yes, I am, and I hope you are doing same.
Not bad at all.
So great, great.
It's been a long time.
Yes, I'm not sure we've seen each other in
a very long
close
time.
to, I think 2 years or something.
Yes. What is happening? How are you doing? How is journalism practice for you?
Well, that brings me or takes me to what one of the people I respect in journalism, Abigail Labi, he used to be with the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation.
Okay.
I think from there she went to the Media Foundation for West Africa. We met somewhere in Accra some years ago at a program at Alisa Hotel. So I just walked straight to her. Then I was still with the Media Foundation for West Africa and greeted. And when she saw me, the first thing she said, Muta Wakilu, was, look at what journalism has done to you.
Oh.
And she said so because I was wearing a cap, dark specs, nose mask and all that. Yes, I was still hiding from threats. So, if you ask me, as journalism been treating me, I will just answer with what Adigelabi said. Look at what journalism has done to me. So I've been hiding and at the same time also being visible where I need to be. Where it's been fine, it's been rocky. And I believe the same with you and other people who are listening to us, your good listeners, and all of those in the media space. Maybe not all of those, but maybe some of those in the media scape.
Share with us your lived experiences, Edward Aditi, now that you are telling us some of these developments.
My experience? Well, looking at today, World Press Freedom Day, what I'll keep saying is that we as journalists are looking for freedom or searching for freedom for society, tested freedom. But in doing so, we also lose our own freedom.
Yeah.
I'm one of those who have lost their freedoms because you are trying to promote a free society. And it has not happened just with those who are outside the media landscape alone, but with the support of some of those in the media landscape or some people in the media landscape supporting people who are, waging intimidation, threats, and all that against some of us. As in, we belong to a profession where, because some people think you are fighting those they have established some relationships or friendships with, then you are fighting them. So they support the people you are fighting in the interest of society. I mean, which you are fighting in the interest of society, against you. So that has been my experience. As in, some of our colleagues have been very supportive, and some have been destructive so far. And I've been to court several times. In one of the instances, I've said this times without number. Somebody who should be promoting or supporting a colleague or colleagues came to court and stood for opponents against me at the circuit court in Bogatanga. I'm not being evasive about what I'm saying. I'm just being specific. And this was a GJ chairman, not the current GJ chairman, not even the one who handed over to the current one in Upper East region. So I've seen a lot, and because of what I asked him, that's why I'm seeing all this.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen a lot, and I think there was a time your station and I were sued, and I think your station, because you had a lawyer, managed to get out of the case. I didn't have a lawyer. I lost that case simply because I didn't have a lawyer. And when I lost that case, it was the same GJ chairman who went to GBC, because the GBC staff, Nobeta took, there's a GBC staff member told me this. Nobeta took GBC in Bogatanga, Yura Radio, told me a GJ regional chairman came to GBC and told them that Aditi had been, that was in 2018, Aditi had been slapped with 33,000 Ghana cedis in fine for defamation. So discuss it. I must bring that guy down. Discuss it in the morning, then in the afternoon. This is what I was told. Then, so I was not even in court when that judgment was entered or given. So I just heard about it. So I went to, I'm talking about the same case that involved A1, and A1, that lawyer Anthony Namo was a lawyer for A1 at that time. So I went to the registrar to pick a copy of the judgment. I asked, is it true? He said, yes. Even your colleagues were here. They got copies. And the registrar was telling me, Wakilu, that he was surprised at the speed at which your colleagues came here. Your colleagues came here to pick copies. They were happy to go and do a story about you because a court has found you guilty of defamation in Upper East. So this is a reality. That is the true picture I'm giving you.
Okay.
So, but of course, I'm thankful to those who are also supportive, and that's the reality. That's the reality.
So
and I don't know my crime.
Having lived through some of these experiences, Edward Aditi, Who would you say is responsible for protecting journalists? Are we talking about the state media owners, or professional bodies that you may want to say?
Yes, as to that question, who protects journalists? Of course, journalists who are doing the right thing. Because if I would begin to say, oh, all journalists would deserve protection from those who should protect them, and somebody who is listening to us is like, some journalists who are not doing the right thing, they are rather harming society. The person will be asking why we should be discussing why such journalists should be protected. He might even tune off. So before that person tunes off, let me quickly add that we are discussing the protection of journalists who are supporting society, who are protecting society, who are protecting your interest. Yes, and also who should protect journalists who are doing the right thing? Journalists like you, like other people who are listening to us. I think charity begins at home.
All right.
It begins from our midst. Let's protect ourselves, and let's protect each other.
All right.
Protect ourselves as in individuals who protect themselves personally. Then protecting each other is being each other's brother's keeper. And that is what has been missing to a very great or huge degree or extent. That's what has been missing, and that's why I started by giving my experience. And I'm not alone in this. The other people, Anas, I was with Anas just 3 days ago. We were sitting together in Accra, and we were just discussing things like this. Okay. And I will use today to celebrating, because as far as we are discussing World Press Freedom Day, because he has established a lot of centers in Accra where not only journalists but also whistleblowers and activists can hide or seek protection for a while when they are being intimidated or threatened. So it begins from within ourselves.
All right.
It begins from within ourselves. Then, of course, the state. In fact, the state itself recognizes the fact that it must protect journalists because of the unique job journalists are doing. That's why you find it in Chapter 12 of the 1992 Constitution, precisely was in Article 152. There's a whole media section in the 1992 Constitution that tells you how the state recognizes. In fact, one American great person, I think it was the President Thomas Jefferson, once said he was writing a letter to somebody, Edward Carrington, at that time. And in that letter, he said, "Look, I would prefer the media without a government to what's the name? A government without the media." It tells you that the media plays a very, very important role in informing society, which is a democracy. So that is why what he called espoused as what's the name? He espoused as Media Development Fund or something. An indication that yes, there was some government commitment to protecting or supporting the media. Because for me, freedom is not just being free from physical attacks or physical assaults. But journalists should be free. Should also be free from economic hardship. Yes. That Wakilu, there are journalists who are underpaid. Yes, even if you're underpaid, is better. There are many journalists who are not paid. Some they are being sacked for not any let me use that word, reasonable reason. You see, it's happening right in this country.
Yeah.
So it's not only freedom from attacks. So the state, I can see the state, of course, has that responsibility we've got individuals, we've got organizations or institutions that are also doing their best, or they are established, or they have the mandate to protect journalists. But I would say it starts with us protecting ourselves and protecting each other.
This is an area that actually I was just about to ask you on it, and we want to look at how we can marry celebrating the Press Freedom Day and the welfare of journalists.
Yes, welfare, yes, exactly. And I think last year when I spoke at the National GJ event, that was around this time, May 2nd. That was just exactly about a year ago. That was May 2, 2nd May last year or so, yes, in Accra. I made mention of the fact that we should, as GJ, go beyond issuing statements only when journalists were beaten. We should also look at the welfare, of journalists. And it has come, of course, every year we have this discussing this, but it's like when this program ends, the spotlight is switched off until next year again. Nobody talks about the welfare of journalists. You only hear GJ when a journalist is beaten or slapped. And I keep looking at it. We have got Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT. You've got National Graduate Association, was in a Teachers Association, NAGRAS also. You've got CCTV or something, CCT. All of these teacher bodies or teacher welfare bodies, they take good care of themselves. They go beyond just talking when one of their members is attacked. But it's like we only speak when somebody is attacked. And it's like only GJ is held only twice in a year, when the journalist is beaten and when there's an award ceremony. And we should be looking at the welfare. Journalists should not just exist as signboards. Journalists have been serving as signboards. As in, a signboard will point to you where a direction as to where you should go. But the signboard itself does not shift from where it is. Journalists are helping society. How many of the journalists we see helping society can really say they are living well? Though you are not called to serve your interest, but the interest of the public. But how many of them? Which is why we're having this discussion. Today we are celebrating, which is a good thing. Ghana is 39th. The World Press Freedom Index ranking came out, I think, yesterday or so. And Ghana did so well, from 60th position in 2020.
52nd position.
And 52nd position last year, 2025. Now 39th position in the whole world, among 180 countries. And Ghana is fourth in Africa after South Africa, Namibia, and Seychelles. Ghana is fourth. It's a good thing. Like if you send your child to go write an international exam, and the child came back home telling you he had or she had 39th position from a global platform examination, the child will only deserve a pat on the back or even a reward if you could, if you can afford. So it's good, but does that reflect in the economic status of the journalists we are talking about? No, and that is where I would say the GJ should look at this. I would look practically. I'm not just talking theory. Practically, I will expect GJ from the national level to engage media house owners. I'm being very, very, very practical about this, or speaking in terms of practical terms about this. GJ at the national level should, the way they taught the regions when they were seeking elections, elections to the position they occupy today, to go around touring the same regions. This time, not engaging delegates or media practitioners, but engaging media house owners, both private and public, community and commercial, print and electronic, about the welfare of their staff.
All right.
They should go beyond issue statement. Look, if GJ will do this, GJ will earn more respect for itself, will earn more honor for itself, and more applause for itself.
Adeti, talking about journalist welfare, In your view, what do you think is the issue that journalists don't even get the motivation to speak about their own condition?
I think it's inborn or it's learned, where all through the years we've learned or inherited that habit of putting people's luggage on our own heads and dragging our own on the floor with our hands. In plain words, there's more emphasis on what the public should get than the emphasis on what we and our family should get. Of course, not through unfair means. We are so passionate about, there's a protest, there's a demonstration, workers are agitating for salary increase, for salary allowance increase or increment, and we are all over the place. In fact, we get to the venue of the protest even before the protesters arrive. Not for ourselves, but for them. We have done it over the years. Yeah. And what the protesters are asking for, the allowance they're asking for, is more than this, your own salary. Or the increment they're asking for is far more than your basic salary. It's like we are happier about the job than our own welfare. And that's why it's like, I keep saying we are just like signboards. We stand in the sun, we stand in the rain, and we are pointing to people the right direction for them to go. But we ourselves are not shifting our signboards or signposts from that spot. That's how it's been all along, all through these years. So, and we should we need to do a lot of introspection, thorough introspection. And DJ should come in talking about this. When was the last time you heard from DJ? Maybe just yesterday or 2 days ago. It's about releases. I'm being frank about this, and I said it there. So I think so. And that is basically what I think we should be looking at.
All right.
Let's look within, and I think we'll be better off if only we could do that.
All right. Thank you very much. We truly appreciate your time this morning. We're hoping that we consistently talk about issues concerning journalist welfare and their safety, as you've mentioned. So it doesn't be a one-off event. So we get results and not just talk shop as we do all the time. Thank you very much, Edward Aditi, for speaking to us this morning on the International Press Freedom Day.
You're most welcome. I wish you same.
All right.
My regards to everyone.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So you heard Edward Aditi. He is with Media Without Borders, speaking to us on the welfare of journalists and journalist safety too as well. Please stick and stay. It's A1 Radio 101.1 megahertz.
I got the fine thing. Me, I got the fine thing. My baby fine. I tell you this one be the fine. Every woman is a superwoman. Every woman is a champion. We know be nobody. If them know they our body. Yeah. Aye. Chaka baby, do am soko baby. We no go hear nobody. Wa mukana ya no more. Messi Masula di Lumba. We be gone till November. Living up in a Bermuda. Other me swear so I give me sugar. Hey, mama ya. Oh ya. NCO. Hey, mama ya.
I love it.
We go do am chaka baby, do am soko baby. We no go hear nobody. Wa mukana ya no more.
All right, so you're welcome back. It's A1 Radio 101.1 megahertz. It's Daybreak Upper East. We're celebrating International Press Freedom Day. This day was celebrated yesterday, and we are doing the discussion today, so we're able to remind ourselves and celebrate our victories, and at least appreciate what we do as journalists and how we can be safe in delivering our work on daily basis. We have William Jalula. He is our former manager here at A1 Radio, and also an associate editor with the Fourth Estate. Good morning and welcome to Daybreak Upper East, William Jalula.
Good morning to you, Wakilu, and the team.
Yeah, hope you're doing well.
I'm enjoying Greece. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad. The sun has been shining out over the past days, but this morning we have good showers. Hope you also enjoy saving Accra.
Oh, great to know. We also we've also been getting some days, but I should understand why you'll be so happy after getting some rain, because last 2 weeks I was in town briefly to taste the weather, and it reminded me of how I've experienced it in the past year. So I can appreciate that. Even here, though the weather is better, but it can sometimes be very troubling.
All right.
But we are coping.
That's okay. Kindly work on your background for us. The place seems to be a bit noisy, so we can have quality conversation with regards to sound. Jalula, you have seen it all, if I may say that. Let's understand from your perspective what safety of journalists mean to you, and as far as this our work is concerned.
Okay, so I hope the background is fine now.
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. So thank you and good morning to you, the team, and then your listeners. Safety of journalists, primarily, that's what defines what journalists are able to do. Basically, their safety defines what they are able to do or what they are not able to do. When we have guaranteed safety for journalists, then we have guaranteed democracy. We have guaranteed accountability systems in place. Then also we have guaranteed public discourse on all matters that affects the facets of our democracy. And so basically, the safety of journalists should be as important as anything to anybody who is a lover of democracy, a lover of development, and someone who wants to see a better society now and for the future. So for me, the safety of journalists is paramount to how successful journalism profession itself can thrive.
You think journalists' safety have been compromised with regards to practicing journalism in Ghana, and what you have experienced?
To some extent, maybe to say compromise may be to quite an extreme, but it has been quite challenging a bit of knowing the experiences we have had in the past, and so to say compromise, of course, it will depend on how you want to look at it and what factors you want to consider. But I think that in a broader scope of scheme, we should be better than where we are now. But again, all is not lost. Seeing what we've achieved over the years, it hasn't been that smooth. We've been off and on in terms of the rankings. And if you look at the rankings, they reflect how journalism profession is being affected by some key factors. And so that includes how the journalists are able to freely practice, and then the democracy space that they find themselves in, and political space, and even threats from activists of political parties and even security agencies. And so if we span our lenses to view all this, we will appreciate that over the years we have been experiencing fluctuating records. And I think that we must begin to analyze how we fall, why we fall, and how we are able to pick up whenever our records indicate that we are doing quite well. And so for me, it is not good as in the rankings, as in even the things we see. We think that we can do better, knowing how the democracy of our country has been experienced and the impact the press over the years has made. We can do better in terms of providing safety nets for journalists to freely practice.
You think journalists in their practice sometimes get into doing things that put them into trouble?
Maybe in rare situations. If you look at all the instances that we have had in the past and in most recent past, which of them can you say that the journalists, out of recklessness, found themselves in those situations where we saw them attacked by security agencies and then political party activists? In most instances, some of the attacks came unprovoked, and you want to wonder why people will prefer to take the law into their own hands, especially the security officers who have the right to effect arrests if they feel or think or if they are convinced that people are standing their way to, blocking them in terms of performing their official duties. They have every right to restrict that intrusion by way of effecting arrest. But if these people who have the right to arrest will not choose to arrest, but will choose to attack, then it is worrying, because it tells you that if others attack, then these same people who are also attacking, who should have been protecting the journalists, will watch this happen, and that is the kind of situation that we'll be having upon ourselves. So I think that we have to understand that everybody has a stake and in ensuring that our democracy is better.
Take protecting the journalists and ensuring the journalists practice their work in a safe environment?
Well, when it comes to safety and protection, I see it in 3 layers. Now, the first layer is the journalist herself or himself. That you are the first protector of yourself. And so you must define what environment you are practicing in. And as much as you can, be sure that there's safety before you step in. Now, that is at that level, at the personal level. You also have to make sure that you connect all the possible areas that should be connected to ensure that when you step out, you are in a safety environment. For instance, let's take it that there's a political activity going on or a demonstration, a public activity that you foresee that there will be high tempers. People will want to go violent, and you are stepping out to cover such an event. Then you must first of all look at the environment, look at the people who are there, and what you can do at your personal level to protect yourself. Then beyond that, that's the first layer. The second layer is the employer. The employer must also provide security for staff. And so what environment are you practicing in? What environment do you have your staff assigned to carry out their work? And so when you are able to understand the terrain, you are able to appreciate the factors that can affect your staff, then you should be able to put in measures that will reduce the risks that they will be exposed to. For instance, if you have to provide protective gears for them, depending on the kind of work they are doing, you have to also insure them. It's all part of safety, so that when they are out there and they are being threatened, they know that at least their employer is behind them, providing that protective shield for them. Then the second layer, which is the broader layer, is the state. And since we all don't own our lives, apart from our maker owning us, the next owner of our lives is the state. And so that is why the state has a responsibility to protect all of us. Not even when you want to take your own life, the state will allow you. And so then it is the reason we say people commit suicide, though internationally that is also being at a different level where they argue that you don't say that because of mental issues. But then the important thing is that you cannot take your own life because it doesn't belong to you. So if it doesn't belong to you and you cannot take it, and the one who has a right to protect you does not protect you when you are doing your work to contribute to the development of the same state that should be protecting you, then it becomes problematic. And so to that extent, the state has a huge responsibility to ensure safety of all workers, not even at this point only journalists. So teachers are going to school, whatever security that they require to safely go to school to teach, they should be given. All manner of workers, nurses, doctors, all professionals, farmers, everybody, every citizen should be protected. But when it comes to job-defined security threats, then the state is able to take charge to identify what better security can the state provide for some individuals or some professionals at what point in time. Now again, so when we have, say, elections, national elections, you see that journalists are made to get accreditation. And when you report to any election center, you must present yourself to the security officers there to be aware that you are a journalist and you are stepping into that environment to work. At that point, the state is protecting you. Again, it takes us to the bit about you are the first person to ensure your safety. So if you walk into an election center or a polling center during an election, and you don't present yourself to the security to ensure that they are aware of your presence, and an issue happens, they may not easily be able to identify that you are a press person, and you may not get the required safety or security attention when you need it most. So these are the layers I see as very critical when it comes to safety of journalists, who has a responsibility to ensure safety of journalists and how that responsibility should be carried out.
William Jelula, we truly appreciate your time with us this morning.
Thank you very much for reaching out.
Okay.